Hello, hello, hello. FIFA Club World Cup podcast coming at you, as usual, with the Qooligan and his magical mystery hands coming out of this box. And myself, Gary Striker. Here we are on this marathon of a recording summit that we're on. This is episode 5, match day 3 and 4.
Yes.
We are getting into them. We are for a rarity. We are without guests, as I know we've had some interesting guests, obviously. In the
and there's daylight
episodes,
outside. This is the other thing that's not happened. All of our recordings have been late at night, and we are actually here in daylight. It's killing me. I feel like I'm about to burn up like a vampire.
Well, but, that's you took the words right out of my mouth, Qooligan. But yes, exactly. The vampire is within us, but it does mean we get a bit of a chance to actually go to a game this evening, or I'm going to go to a bar in downtown Miami and go and watch some of the games. There's a fan center there as well. Going to watch it,
nice.
Go and have a few beers and enjoy it.
I'm watching my child play, and there will be no beers drunk during that because the Qooligan does not drink at children's sporting events.
That is a wise decision.
That does not happen.
That is a wise decision.
Yes.
So,
always.
Qooligan, let's get into it. So we are going to be covering off. So when we were recording last night, when we had Manu from the Gegenpressing Pod and Transfermarkt, there was the
brilliant,
Flamengo.
By the way. Please come back. Please come
Manu,
back, Manu. You were fantastic.
Big fans of you. Yeah, you're absolutely very analytical. I love his Germanic approach as well. He had his numbers, he had his stats, and he was very efficient with his messaging as well. He was very on brand.
I concur.
Yes. So yesterday we had the Flamengo Tunis game going on while we were recording, and then we've had a couple of games today. And so what we wanted to do is cover those games that have happened today, and then also look forward into some of these games that are coming up for this evening and also tomorrow as well, and get into it. So let's start chronologically. Obviously, the game that happened yesterday, Flamengo Tunis.
Flamengo
2-0
versus Esperance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Esperance to Tunis. I saw these highlights. I mean, it was, I have to say, the Brazilian teams are all 4 of them are unbeaten. Now, admittedly, just through one game week or sort of game round.
Yeah, it means nothing. It means nothing, but it means a lot. It could be. Yeah, both things can be true.
It could be. Brazilian teams have looked good. I do have to say they have looked good. They have looked dynamic and attacking. But yeah, just staying on brand. I mean, it looked like it was an absolute. Just watching the highlights as well, because obviously while we were recording as well, it did look as though Flamengo absolutely just sort of, I wouldn't say ran over Tunis, but certainly got the better of them as well. I mean, just in terms of all the statistics.
Yeah. The statistics show their dominance. I think the run of play and the creativity behind the play also show that. Esperance is a good, solid team, but they were never. I always thought that this was going to be a tough one for them. I did not see much in the way of their very laudable. Oh, no, it's Wydad who's got the real big ultra unit, right? So I'm expecting the Wydad game to be crazy. Esperance, they have supporters and they're popular, but they are likely going to be the one team that has the fewest fans other than Auckland, just because of the logistics of having to travel from New Zealand that's just onerous. So no, I think they'll constantly be underserved. Now I'm going to catch their game in Nashville. At least that's the plan. So I'll be able to report from the ground what it looks like on the stadium when Esperance looks and takes on LAFC, and I'll give you some reports on that. But no, Flamengo totally had the better run of play. They had more shot attempts. They had twice as many shots on goal. Now, admittedly, that wasn't much. It was 2 for Esperance. It was 4 for Flamengo. So it's not like super orders of magnitude, but 68%, 69% possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a domination. It's a domination.
Jorginho looked really good for them. He was the one who seemed to make them tick, just with his sort of insightful passing and just his sort of, again, that's traditionally his style and his MO when he played for Napoli, when he played for Chelsea, when he played for Arsenal as well. Whenever he got on the ball, he'd just dictate the tempo and the rhythm, playing the smart passes as well. And Jorginho certainly was the pass master for Flamengo. So
he also got that first goal.
Yeah, that is correct as well.
So, and there you go, right? And then,
but wait, Jorginho didn't get the first goal for Flamengo. It was George.
You're talking about Jorginho. Sorry, there's another player called Georgian. I confused them. My bad. Yep, my wires crossed.
Your Portuguese naming conventions are. It is confusing. I get it. There are a lot of names. Yeah, but Jorginho. But yeah, no, definitely. He looked as though he was ticking them over. Okay, so that obviously brings that group to a head, and obviously they are Flamengo and Chelsea are obviously sitting on top, both with 3 points as well. So they're looking pretty comfortable.
Yes,
and then obviously they should take it through. And then moving into the early game for today, there was Fluminense against Dortmund. Now, for me, I would have expected Dortmund to sort of be in charge of this one and go and run through this one, but it wasn't the case. I thought that they really, really did a good job, Fluminense, of holding them back as well, particularly Thiago Silva as well. Again, another favorite of mine as well. He
ageless
was absolutely fantastic. I mean, how
complete ageless wonder
for a defender. I think he's getting into his sort of early 40s as well.
No, he's 40. He's purely 40.
Nailed on 40 on the nose, right? Yeah.
He is the oldest field player in the tournament.
He is? Oh, wow. Okay.
He's the oldest field player. So the oldest goalkeeper was Fabio, number 40, was the boy in turquoise. And at one point, and I gotta say, I got a really positive body sense out of this. Is he has a visible belly. He was the only player on the pitch, and that included the referees, that actually had a visible paunch when filmed from the right angle. And I had a moment. I felt, oh, he's one of us. He's one of us, Gary. And he's still out there.
Even the professional athletes have dad bods, and it's acceptable, right? And it's trendy. Is that what it is? Yeah.
A goalkeeper at 44 is allowed to have a little bit of a punch, and that's completely acceptable. So it was that was a fine moment, and I say, Fabio, keep up the good work.
Indeed.
Good. Here's a couple of things though, and I wanted to bring this up because I was going to raise it in one of our conversations, and it seems like it's an appropriate point to do this right now. Let us take a moment and study. Because I did the research into this, and I'm looking at game loads. Okay, so how many games did each team play prior to coming to this tournament? And I went in and I did the research.
Okay, go on.
And so there's some interesting stats there, and obviously the European teams, their season starts in August. So I was measuring it from the start of their season down through the kickoff of this tournament. And I went and I looked at all competitions and I added it up. It's a little bit more challenging with the South American teams because they play some of the CONCACAF teams and the Mexican teams, because they play a different style of league. They do a clausura apertura style where they actually have two distinct seasons that
break it up,
count in various ways depending on the league, blah, blah, blah. So the numbers don't purely add up, but you do get a sense of the fact that some of these European teams are coming in with a tremendous amount of games under their belt. And Borussia Dortmund was one of those. They played 50 games prior to this one.
So this was 51st game of the season.
This was their August. 51st game in August. 10 months. 10 months, yeah. Wow. Okay. It's a good amount, right? Now, they are also one of the younger teams in the league. And so, in a way, their average age is 24.9. So that puts them on the young side, right? Because that puts them on the youngish side. That should have balanced each other out. But if you look at Fluminense, they've played 32 games. But here's the interesting stat. They have apparently played 32 games since January.
Okay.
And that's a very interesting. So in 6 months, they've played almost as many games.
Because they're averaging that's like averaging around 6 games a month, isn't it? Right. Versus Dortmund about 5 games a month, right? So, okay. That's right. Okay. So they
also have a youngish team, but they also have a roster of 45 players.
Wow. Okay.
So their roster is super deep. Now they can't obviously put all of those on the bench because you can only have 18, right? Because that's the rule. But what it does mean is they have a large pool of players, and I wouldn't be surprised if they brought all those players and they just keep them in camp. So they're going to be able to rotate a lot more than Borussia, who have a roster of only 29. Now, some of these numbers may have changed because I'm relying on research that I did sometimes as much as 2 weeks ago. And there's been a lot of change, obviously, coming into this tournament. There's been new players signed. There have been some who've been let go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But generally speaking, these numbers are going to remain about the same. So Borussia was a bit behind the 8 ball just to begin with, right? And that's not even counting some of the international duty that these players may have done before coming into these camps.
And this is just club levels. Yeah. Okay. Then the players some of them have played a lot more than obviously with the international side of it as well.
On an individual player level, some of them have played probably as many as
60.
You take into account national team games. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's And so what is interesting though is I'm not seeing a lot of hamstring injuries or muscle tweaks or knocks as well. There doesn't seem to be a lot of those coming in. Now, granted, we're only 4 days in here.
There was some cramping. That's not unusual at this level, especially in areas where there was a lot of heat. There was some cramping, I believe, in the PSG Atletico game, which was hot, right? That was 31 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. And
on the pitch, it must have been much hotter.
Yeah.
Even though it's grass at the Rose Bowl, it's still, you're in an enclosed space. And now, what's very curious, though, is that you could look a lot into these numbers and you can try to extract out things, but it doesn't necessarily play because if you look at Chelsea versus LAFC, which was another game that happened earlier, Chelsea's played 53 games. Okay, so they've played 53 games since August, and LAFC have only played 22 since January, right? Because their season started in March. Yeah. So again, while they've had a high density of games, the numbers they're not a good indicator or predictor of how a team is going to show up at a particular style and time. But I think that when you watch them and you analyze them, you can begin to see, okay, Borussia did look a little flat. They did not look particularly sharp. Yeah. And I don't think it was because of the heat or the pitch, although that's what the manager said afterwards. He did mention heat and pitch, and the commentators were rightly, they said, well, that's
fatigue,
not a problem. That's not fatigue. That's not a problem with your team. That's a problem with your preparation.
Yeah.
And they're correct. You should be able to adjust in. You should be able to adjust to certain pitches, and U.S. pitches tend to move faster, right? The ball tends to skip more and bounces higher, and it moves along.
And is that because you're on Astro, when you're playing on Astro? Is that what you're referring to when it's sort of the ball moves faster on if it's on Astro?
Even the grass pitches don't play the same way. All right.
Oh, okay.
The grass pitches. It's sometimes a different grass. Right. We don't use the same grass in the United States as they use in Europe. Right. So we have different styles of grass that we can use. You can use Kentucky. You can use there's Bermuda, all these different kinds.
Bermuda, Soja. There's all of those.
There's a whole bunch of different styles that you can use. Yeah. A lot of these places will use a modified woven field, which weaves in some other stuff in with the natural
half grass, half synthetic. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, they do it to protect it because it's there. Wow. We're going deep into. We're talking about grass in this.
This is the deep dive, ladies and gentlemen. If you have made it this far, congratulations, because
12 minutes
it's all going up. It's all going up from here. All right.
Talking about grass.
We're talking about grass. We're going to stop talking about grass. We're going to get back to the beautiful game and not the beautiful pitch. So yes, our digression is now moving on. I was just trying to give a little context in because they were mentioning it a lot on the broadcast, and they mentioned that Fluminense only played 11 games. And I wanted to make sure that people said that's not accurate. They played 11 league games.
Yeah, and there's all the
they are involved in 4 different non-league cups and Copa Libertadores and various other things that
Brazilian
were going
cups
on.
And those things.
That's not an entirely accurate statement. They were fudging a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, good call out there and good research, Qooligan, as well.
But I'll tell you again, this was another entertaining 0-0 draw. Right? Neither team scored.
Yeah.
But the game itself was not dull. There were good chances. There was nice build-up. There was some outstanding goalkeeper play, particularly Kobel from Borussia Dortmund was the player of the match for them. That guy was incredible. And he made one save, that shot, I believe it was from Arias, John Arias, their Colombian striker for Fluminense. He took a shot that took a deflection, and he had to make a last-minute grab, low with the hard hand on the left side, parried it right into another Fluminense player who then shot it point blank.
Yeah.
And he saved that one too.
Yeah.
Of course, that player was offsides and it wouldn't have counted, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
That type of double save will break a defensive team's morale.
I think we keep coming back to this trend, particularly the back end of the sort of European season. We're talking through the Champions League semi-finals and finals, and even here, we're talking a lot more about goalkeepers and how they're doing a really good job in saving them as well. It really does feel as though goalkeeper levels in general seem to have been elevated, and obviously they're saving a lot more and sort of.
And they don't have the heavy legs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
35, 40 games for a goalkeeper. It's not easy.
Yeah. But
they're not
you're not running
the same
7
type
miles. You're not running 7 miles in a 90-minute period, are you?
They're not doing 11 kilometers a game.
Yeah, exactly.
They might be doing 4 or 5, but
yeah.
it's a different type of work and workout.
Yeah. What was your? Did you see? I see Job Bellingham, Jude's younger brother, who obviously recently signed for Dortmund, came on the 77th minute as well. I didn't really see. I don't feel like I saw enough of him to sort of make an opinion. I know he's obviously probably not the level of his brother, but it could be an interesting narrative as well. If these teams do get through, Real Madrid and Dortmund, and then play each other, and you're going to have two brothers against each other.
That would be great. Actually, that'd be a great storyline.
That would be a magical
FIFA is desperately hoping for that type of storyline. Indeed, listen. He didn't. Did he make any egregious mistakes? No. Was he a game changer? No.
Yeah. Again, they've just signed him, so they're probably easing him into it.
It's worth. I mean, the fact that he touched the field, I think, is an indication of freshness. I think that is as much of an indication of the fact that they had a lot of tired players.
But then again, he's just come out of playing from the Championship as well. I think he was he at Sunderland, I believe, as well, right? I think he was playing at Sunderland, I think it was. So he's also come through.
I don't think he. You know what? I'm going to fact check you on this one, G.
Joe Bellingham. I think it was Sunderland.
Right?
What team did he play for? Yeah, I think it was Sunderland as well, his previous team. Yeah, it was. It was Sunderland. Yeah, he played through Sunderland.
Really?
I believe Sunderland got promoted. Yeah, and so he's just come out of the Championship, and that Championship.
No, you're right. So he doesn't have fresh legs at all.
He doesn't. If anything, he's more tired as well because they play more league games plus all the cup games as well. So he's also sort of had a heavy season as well. So yeah,
he played 40. He played in 43 games for Sunderland and logged up 3,800 minutes. Yeah, that's a lot. Wow.
He's got some miles on him. Yeah, he's definitely run some miles this season for sure as well.
Yeah, he's also 19 years. He's also 19 years old, so I'm not going to give him. I'm not cutting him any slack.
Young spring chicken.
If he can't handle that, he's in the wrong business.
I think he can handle it, and he's where he is for that good reason. Okay, and then we have this River Plate game. Just looking, it's 2-0 now. River Plate against Red Diamonds as well.
Did they score another one?
Yeah, they banged in another one, and look, I don't think this was probably a sort of given result because River Plate are in great form at the moment as well. I think they've gone like 10 or 12 games unbeaten in the league and sort of coming into this with good form. 4 World Cup winners in the squad as well. However, the fans, the Red Diamond fans, they are they are on it, they are up for it, and they are in their numbers. They are. So far we've seen Al Ahly fans have impressed me. Definitely the Boca fans, and now the Red Diamonds fans as well. Those are 3 sets of fans that really have turned up and made a lot of noise and given a lot of support. Hey,
it is a fantastic red wall on that side of Lumen Field, right? They're at Lumen Field, correct? Yeah,
that's correct. Yes, they are there.
Damn depressive.
Yeah, they really are looking
damn
great.
Impressive. I'm very pleased to see this type of. I'm extremely excited to see this type of fan coming in. Especially for some of these smaller sides.
Yeah, it's true.
It's heartwarming, right? Because they'll be there. They will be there, win or lose. And so I'm excited. I'm hoping that they'll turn up at some of the games that I go to, where I'll be able to get some of that fan experience. So
yeah,
and Urawa, it looks like, actually had a couple of good counter strikes, and they put a goal in the net. Unfortunately, the player was offside.
Well, they've just been awarded a penalty at the moment, so they're standing over the ball at the moment as well. So hopefully they'll be able to get one back with
who's taking
actually 56 minutes as well. Who is it? It's the blonde Urawa player. What is his name? I can find out for you in a second if you see where he scores. But but definitely the Red Diamonds. Red Diamonds are gonna. Looks like they might get one back. There's a bit of afters going on as well, so we'll see how it is. But anyway,
let's make it a game. Just make it a game.
Looking through this. Okay, so we have the red River Plate Red Diamonds 2-0 up, possibly 2-1 depending on how this penalty goes. And then we have 2 more games this evening. We have Ulsan against Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yes.
We all know how I feel about Mamelodi. You're a big Sundowns fan.
I love this team.
And have you actually seen any games of them at all, or as well it's just the name that's captivated you, or just the fact that
I don't have to see them to love them.
Yeah,
all right.
Don't have to see them to love them. But will you be able to watch them this evening, given your sort of extracurricular activities, or you'll have to catch this on the highlights?
I'll have it streaming on my phone, but I'll probably try to watch the highlights a little more closely later on. But
okay.
No, I'm it's not just me. I was in the commentating that was going on during the half times and in the after shows. Even all the pundits are saying, do not discount Mamelodi.
Red Diamond score.
Because let's go up the diamonds.
No, Red Diamonds. Yep, there we go. Japanese
don't
fans
discount
going nuts.
Mamelodi.
Yeah.
They've got some real sneaky talent in that team.
Yeah.
They have a couple of Brazilian strikers,
Brazilians amongst the South Africans.
Lucas Ribeiro and Arthur Salles, who are both very strong.
Yeah.
And they've got this Namibian striker named Peter Shalulier.
Okay.
And I mean, he's got like 15 goals. I mean, between them, admittedly, in the South African League, they are the dominant club. They have won the South African League 8 years in a row.
Wow. Okay.
So they are the dominant team. And they brought in these Brazilians to shore up that attack internationally. And I think they could do it. This is a group with Borussia and Fluminense both taking 1 point.
Exactly. If they can get the 3 points here,
that Ulsan
they're in a great
and
position.
Mamelodi are stoked. They're going, yo, we've got the chance to put our stamp on this group and be the top dog.
What it means just mathematically as well is if they draw, the reality is all you need is 4 points and you should be okay to qualify. Okay. So if you can just put 3 up against here and then go and try and sort of grind out a draw against any of the other 2 games, you have a fighting chance of actually qualifying as well. So I
don't think either Fluminense or Borussia showed me it was a good game, but neither one of them showed me that they're going to run the table, that they're going to just run through all the competition. Well, I haven't seen Ulsan and Mamelodi yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But there's a very good chance that the winner of this match, Mamelodi Ulsan, could sneak their way into second place. And
I agree.
Could pip their way into the quarters.
And again, like they could, as you say, and with the fatigue and obviously sort of how it is, again, anything could happen. It really, really could happen.
In case you are curious, Mamelodi have not played that many games. I don't believe. Looking at their game load, 1 second, I'll bring that up.
Yeah.
Mamelodi is sitting. They've only played 44 games their entire season, so that's about normal. It's a little above normal.
I'm just looking at the
Ulsan. 26 since January because their season they play in the Asian season, so they start like MLS.
Okay.
So,
All right. And just looking at the whole season as well, they only lost 3 games this season as well. So they've got
Mamelodi. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
That's good.
They lost 3 games in their league and one in the CAF and one in the CAF Champions League. Yeah.
Cool. Wonderful. Okay. And then moving on to tonight's game, we've got Monterrey against Inter.
Boy.
This
we're talking
about fan turnout,
ladies and gentlemen. Talking about fan turnout.
Monterrey are going to be up for this one, absolutely, and they're going to be turning.
They're playing at home.
Turn up in, and they're playing. Where's the game?
It's as close to a home match. It's as close to a home match that you can have. They play at the Rose Bowl.
My God, this is going to be.
They're playing at the Rose Bowl. Get this, Gary. All 3 games, they're at the Rose Bowl.
Okay,
they're the only team that actually gets to play in one stadium for the entire time.
Wow, Monterrey.
And that is a stadium that is driving distance from Monterrey.
Yeah. But even Monterrey, I mean, how many Mexican soccer fans are in LA?
Not to mention the amount of Monterrey-based people that live in the Southern California basin.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God. So that's going to be a turnout. So, another set of fans to watch out for as well. There will be good intervals. And bearing in mind, Inter have suddenly had a change of manager. They had a real wobble towards the end of the season by getting thumped by PSG and obviously just fell over at the end of their Serie A season as well. So, and the one I'm looking forward to seeing this is Sergio Ramos. How is he, and now how much shithousery is he going to bring against those Italians, right? This is going to be an entertaining game. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. No, I think I think this has all the hallmarks of a classic. And we just have to see whether or not they show up and can deliver. And I think they can.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's see how that one goes. Yeah, I agree. That one's going to be an entertaining game. My sort of gut would say, again, it's really interesting how we've always been biased towards the European teams beating the non-European teams because that's where you'd expect the dominance to be. But we're still yet to sort of, again, this is what this whole competition is all about, just to see where the different levels are as well, right? I get.
You want to go out and put some scores on the line? You want to put some scores on the line?
I mean, my last score prediction, which I think when we did this was obviously Auckland against Bayern, and I got it wrong by 3 goals. I said 7-0.
You didn't get it wrong by much. I got it wrong by a lot. Let's be fair.
So, are you sure you want to redeem yourself? Go on then. What do you think?
I'm the one who's asking. Maybe I'm doing it for a redemptive purpose. Maybe I'm just doing it because I hope you stumble and fall. But either way, the fans will get satisfaction out of this.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Monterrey here.
Whew, you are one saucy bugger. I'm going 2-2 draw.
Okay. Well,
I think it's a 2-2 draw.
Hopefully there's goals. I think also I'll go further. There's going to be a red card as well. You're going to absolutely see a red card.
Oh, I think the money on that is not worth putting. I wouldn't put any money on that. That's a sucker bet.
We need to get the soccer sharps back on here as well, and get them doing it as well.
Yeah, it's true. What about any of the previous games? Do you have any thoughts on Ulsan Mamelodi?
No. I'm going
3-1 Mamelodi. I'm going 3-1 Mamelodi.
Listen, again, this is the bias in me. I spent a number of my formative years, not only in Argentina, obviously being a quasi Boca fan, but growing up in South Africa for a number of years. So again, I want to side with the Sundowns. I just don't know enough about the teams, to be perfectly honest, to make a sort of.
It's perfectly fine to not have an opinion.
I will abstain right now until I see.
It's a little cowardly, but it's totally acceptable.
I want to preserve my 100% record, right? You
Sure. There you go. Well played.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Well played.
And then looking into tomorrow, just with some quick fire predictions as well.
You're throwing me a curve here.
Well.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Okay. So we have 4 games. We have Man City against Casablanca, Wydad AC from Casablanca. We have Real Madrid Al Hilal, which this Gary Striker is actually just grabbing tickets to and is going to be going to that Real Madrid game as well. So that should be fun to turn out. Pachuca against RB Salzburg, and then Al Ain against Juve. So Man City, Casablanca.
I mean, in all honesty, you cannot bet against in this fixture. But I do think my prediction is going to be that the stadium in Philadelphia will be heavily red with Wydad fans.
You think so?
They will drown out the blue. I think they will drown out the blue. In terms of the fans, I think in terms of the game, Man City should pull this. If Wydad gets a goal, that'll be a miracle. But I think City is going to be looking at the way all the other teams have been taking this seriously, and they're going to be taking it seriously too.
Well, I mean, you can say Man City have taken it seriously because they signed 4 players in advance of this tournament as well. Remember, they got their business done. They've signed 4 players in spite of their 115 different sort of financial charges as well, which we don't know what happened to as well. Yeah, well, exactly. If you're going to go down swinging, right? Yes. I would like to add that I do have Haaland. I'm just confirming this now. I have Haaland as my captain in my fantasy team. So the expectation here is you're going to see a lot of goals banged in from Haaland as well, and hopefully I get some double points there. I think, we're going to see 4-5-0. If 4-5-0, it could even be more than that. But I'm going to go a conservative 4-0. Real Madrid Al Hilal.
I think Real is going to win, but I think Al Hilal is going to keep it close. I don't see Real winning by more than 2 goals.
Yes, okay, that could be good. I will say I'm just looking at Al Hilal's team, and obviously we did some of this preamble in the research before that we did. They've got Mitrovic, they've got Manchester City's João Cancelo, former Man City player. They also have Khalid Koulibaly as well, the former Napoli and Chelsea defender as well. Malcolm. So those are some players as well that they've managed to bring in as they've.
But that's not the one you need to be looking at. Those guys are all good, but do you know who the most dangerous player in Al Hilal is?
Is it
Salem Al-Dassari? No, Salem Al-Dassari.
Okay, Al-Dassari.
So Al-Dassari, he's a Saudi. He's from the kingdom.
Yeah.
Dude has 46 contributions this season. Okay. 28 goals and 18 assists. Now stop and think about that for a second, right? That's a lot. That's more than Marcos Leonardo, their Brazilian forward. That's more than Mitrovic, right? He is an absolutely ruthless, super speedy, and dangerous, not just finisher, but also, feeder.
Okay.
So he creates service. He also can finish when he's given the chance. So I think he has a chance for a breakout game.
Is he in your fantasy team? Did you get him in here, or did you miss that? Did you miss that opportunity?
I haven't even looked at my fantasy team. I have faith that my choices were sublime and brilliant, and that when I open it, I will be shocked. No, excuse me. I will be expecting to be in first place, but I don't think that's true.
You'll be expecting to be. Yeah, I can just taking a quick look under the Qooligan Soccer League that we've created. You're in 6th place with 57 points as well. So yeah, you have
out of how many? 6?
Out of no, we have a few more as well that we've managed to get in there. Look at that, we've have 18 in our Super League.
Really? So I'm in the top third.
Yeah,
that's
you are
in
the top third.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. First game week is not over. Okay, let's bash through this because we are bumping up against time as well. So just then looking through predictions on the other 2 games as well that we have coming up as well. So we have Pachuca against
Salzburg.
RB Salzburg. Yes,
I've got no skin in this. I actually think this is Pachuca. I think Pachuca's to lose. I think they're tougher. I think they're tougher than Salzburg.
I think also as well, just being Mexican as well, you know that they're going to have a lot of good turnout. They are going to have a lot of turnouts and a good fan base. And again, that does help them a lot as well. So I agree. Salzburg as well. So we'll see what happens and what goes on there. And then finally,
my upset of the week is Al Ain. I think Al Ain beats Juventus 2-1.
Okay.
I do.
You think from the UAE, from the UAE league as well? Okay.
I do.
Okay, well, just looking at
significant. I'm saying it here. I'm saying it here, and if it does not turn out to be true, well, I'll be like, okay.
I think. Well, the only interesting thing is as well, they have an Argentinian player named Gino Infantino, as obviously the namesake of the FIFA president as well. So
yes,
just watch
so you
watch
know
how the referees do the referees book him or not. Let's see if he's been touched. Yeah, don't touch Infantino. So
I mean, and let's also not forget that Al Ain, they actually made the final of a Club World Cup back in 2018. They're not. It's not as if they're. It's not as if they're complete noobs in this, and they've got a fantastic Moroccan up front, Soufiane Rahimi.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, just 19 goals, 5 assists, and then there's Togoese forward Laba, Pedro Laba. Again, both of these guys are super dangerous.
Yeah,
super dangerous, and a Paraguayan number 10 who's pulling all the strings, a guy named Kaku. Yeah, it's like they that is a team that Juve would look at and be like, oh yeah, we got this, and they could get shocked. They could get shocked.
Okay, well, Alain, I disagree. I'm going to go the other way on this one. I think Juventus will probably grind it out 2-0 and just sort of sit back, take again. And the difference here is every single win, it's money, and they're going to go for this as well. So yeah, wonderful. Qooligan, as always, episode 4 in the can. Episode 5 in the can, match day 3/4 as well. So we will be back again tomorrow. Let's see how the days coordinate and how everything is, whether we do an evening recording or a daytime recording as well while the games are going on.
Exactly.
As always, we'll get some more guests coming back on as well. I am going to be going down, as I say, there's a fan park down in Miami, which I'll be going to watch some games and drink some Michelob Ultras, which seems to be the beer of choice. They've sponsored with FIFA, so enjoying those. Until then, till tomorrow, Qooligan, thank you.
Peace.